This right here is my tiny house. Been my tiny house for the last 7 years. How did I buy it? How do you finance one of these? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today in... All right, now I'm going to have to let that warm up a little bit. All right, definitely too cold to be doing this video outdoors. So we're talking about tiny house financing. Now, let me give you a little background on my place. I bought this as a shell back in 2013 from the Tumbleweed Tiny House Company. They did a phenomenal job. They put the roof on there, it saved me a ton of time, and it wasn't too expensive. So I paid around $16,000, $17,000 for this Linden model shell, and then I proceeded to build it out. Now that enabled me to save a bunch of money up front, and it allowed me to incrementally pour money into the place. For example, when I bought the windows, I splashed out for some really good windows in here. That spread the cost of the house out. So you can do that. That's one example. But if you're looking to not build your own, you're looking to buy one, you're really in a bit of a predicament, because what happens is a lot of smaller tiny house builders like myself, I can't offer financing. And I get a lot of inquiries from people who ask me, you know, can you finance this house for me? And I unfortunately have to turn a lot of people away because of that. There are tiny house builders that are of a certain size that can afford to do that. I am not one of them. And you can approach those folks. Be prepared to pay more. Invariably, when you start looking for tiny house financing, you're going to wind up in situations where you go, ooh, and then you're going to go, it's going to be a lot of that. Because what happens is you will find promising looking links only to find out that you're going to be paying 10, 15, 18% interest on the financing of your tiny house, which is really no different than if you were to buy one of these on your credit card. Right? When you think about mortgage rates for traditional housing, and they're at all-time lows, 2, 3, or 4%, you cannot get that in a tiny house. And if there's somebody out there that has, you know, the secret sauce for this and the magic recipe for doing so, please drop a comment down below, because I have not been able to find that. What are your options? Well, you can save up all your, money that you need to buy the tiny house, and you can put off the purchase and buy it when you have the available funds. You can do what I did, which is buy a shell. In other words, cost of entry is lower. You don't need to have as much cash on hand. And then you proceed to, either hire people or you do a lot of the building yourself. And then that way you already have the tiny house and you're able to incrementally put more money into it. Third option, think about family and friends, right? Like, who do you know that might have $30,000 or $40,000 that they can lend you? So in other words, this family member or somebody that you know becomes the bank, if you will. Obviously, there has to be a certain level of trust with the person. They have to trust you first and foremost to be able to pay back this loan that they're giving you. So you can make it worth their while by giving them 6-7% interest, let's say. They're happy, you're happy, you get the house. A further scenario that you could engage in is to buy maybe a fixer-upper tiny house. Yeah, tiny houses have been around long enough to have fixer-uppers at this point. You can get one that maybe doesn't meet exactly your parameters or your specifications. Maybe this isn't the dream house you were hoping for, but it's a house. They're on wheels, so you can tow it to where you need it to be, and then you can complete the work on that as well. It's kind of a similar scenario to the shell model I was saying, but potentially with some of the more key systems already in place, like the plumbing, the electric. If these are things that you don't want to mess with personally, maybe it doesn't have the solar panels that you were looking for. Maybe it has the wrong toilet in there that you don't like, or whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is you have a couple different options. You're really going to be hard pressed to find a traditional financing model. But again, I welcome people dropping comments into the box below. And by the way, if this video has been in any way helpful to you, I'd appreciate you hitting the like and contemplate hitting the subscribe button because I produce a lot of tiny house related content. And there is a lot of other information available in my book, The Joy of Tiny House Living, available on Amazon, link in the description below. And then if you want to get more hands-on, I've also got my second book here, Building Your Tiny House Dream, which is a more hands-on book to build one of these, a really small tiny house, like a starter home. And that also available on Amazon. I thank you for watching. I am going to be producing more and more of these videos. Like I said, if it has been helpful to you, please hit subscribe and check out some of my other videos. This is Chris signing off. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.